And students and staff and faculty all exist in that frame. And so I think to acknowledge the frame and what that says, we can all fall on that. How then we choose to live that out is going to look different. I'm making the argument that the condemnation position is probably not going to get you as far as maybe some of those other positions, right, in terms of relating to the student for the very reason that you're talking about, right? When you talk about changing me, I don't feel like I need to change, right? I've arrived. I am where I am, right? Take me or leave me, right? So I think that you make a very valid point, and that's something that we need to be cognizant of and wrestle with. I don't know that I have a good answer to your question, other than I think it's worth the wrestle. Is that
The book that
address it?
that Bill talks about too, the 6 positions of Christian viewpoints of homosexuality. Great book written by a Westmont professor, I believe he's a professor from Westmont, who was dealing with same-sex attraction. And it articulates very well how Christians, 6 different responses they have. I have that book. I'd be willing to loan it to you guys because it helped me realize this issue is much more complex than it's wrong, don't do it, stop it, which is where I was.
Was there another question? Yeah.
I was just curious when you said, let's talk practically with Jenny. If you were to move forward or refer her to you or whoever that may be, when you said that we're not out to get them in trouble or kick them out or whatever, but you did say that to move them into a place of accountability. And
Sure.
what does that practically look like? Just in Jenny's situation, if that was to be presented with me and then she went through the process of coming under accountability.
So where shall we seek support, right? There are certain offices on campus that they can keep things confidential, right? So if Jenny is concerned that anyone else on campus know about this, your referral can be to the counseling center, the health center, or the campus pastors. Those 3 offices have blankets of confidentiality. We don't have to share information. So that's a first thing. If Jenny wants to seek support in the residence halls and is behaving contrary to our standards of conduct, that may mean that they have a meeting to talk about behaviors. That's accountability, right? So how are we going to keep walking in community together? We talk about some of the other student affairs offices, student life offices is going to look a little bit more like that. But again, those tend to be more one-on-one types of conversations than, hey, I'm calling you in for a judicial process, right? It's, hey, just wanted to be in a relationship and get to know you a little bit, see what's going on, and how can we walk this together? Does that make sense? So, but there is the potential there, and we have had students where they engage in a, I'm thinking of 2 gentlemen who were in a dating relationship and they refused to not date as students, undergrads. And so we said, well, let's meet and talk about how this is going to play out. Is this really the best environment for you? Because you know what the rules are. And those 2 elected to leave the university. They weren't forced out, they weren't kicked out, they weren't told you need to leave or we'll make you go. It was simply in our conversation, in our relationship with them, they realized, yeah, we can't live the way we want to live here. And so we're going to do that somewhere else. Those are the types of conversations we have. I can assure you, in 18 years, nobody's been kicked out because they were gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender at APU. I have not seen a student come through that has been kicked out for that reason. So that accountability is really relational accountability. Does that make sense? Okay.
Well, let's go with Dave and we'll, last question.
Just back to kind of the framework of APU, and in a situation that we might encounter with a student athlete, you know, is it a good view to have that we should try and validate feelings and not validate behaviors?
I think that validation of the person is where I'm at. So yeah, there are feelings. What you are experiencing is valid, right? It's your truth, it's your world, right? Again, in relationship, part of what I want to do in a counseling relationship with students is I want to make sure that your behavior and your values are congruent, right? I understand that there are a spectrum of views on this topic within Christendom and certainly outside. And so I want to make sure that wherever you land, that you're congruent, that the behaviors that you're engaging in are lining up with your values. And if there's a discrepancy there, let's talk about that. I just want to have that conversation with you because at the end of the day, if you're not congruent, if you're not lined up, you're going to have distress, right? And I want you to feel well. I want you to be well. So that's where I'm working with a student. And if I'm having conversations about that, it's because they've noted a discrepancy, and I want to get to the bottom of that a little bit with Does that help?
Yeah, I just, for us, not, you know, like, because we want to show support.
Yeah, yeah.
Understand that these emotions are real, if you're in a, you know,
Absolutely.
a blow up with a relationship, but
Absolutely.
yet careful not to validate behaviors that would fall outside of the framework
Sure, sure.
of APU.
I hear you. Yeah. Yep.
Just one last comment. One of the things that I've been dialoguing about, our group at the Institute of Dialogue, is how do you have these conversations? I think for us, it's real easy to walk up to one of our athletes and say, hey, tell me about your faith journey. And we're kind of comfortable if they say, I don't have one, we kind of know how to deal with it. But it's hard to walk up and say, hey, what's your sexuality? That's just awkward, and that's bizarre. So we've been talking about how do we have these conversations. Joe, you may need to say something.
You got it.
One of the things that I've been told by people in the LGBT community is that when we have our meetings at the beginning of the year and we say things like, hey, especially we're talking to a guys team, hey, you're going to treat women with respect. There's going to be no racial prejudice in talk. We're going to treat LGBT students with respect. Just something similar, just something with a very simple comment like that where we acknowledge possible presence of LGBT students. I've been told by gays and lesbians, that is huge. They told me to say that as an athletic director. And those students that have same-sex attraction hear that and go, oh, this person gets me a little bit. And they are more likely than to privately come in and say, hey, I appreciate you saying it. Just so you know, this is something I'm wrestling with, or something it's how I identify myself.
I'm not wrestling with.
Or not wrestling, yeah, it's something about how I identify myself. But it's somewhat invasive for us to go in, but if we put some sort of defense out there saying, hey, we're gonna care for these people, it makes it easier for them then to approach us. So think about those moments where you can just defend respect for all types of people, okay? Thank you, Bill.
You're
Appreciate
very
that.
welcome.
We will keep diving. If you guys want to keep diving on this, let me know. We'll keep doing. Maybe in the summer we can go a little bit deeper on this. But thank you, Bill.
Welcome. I
appreciate-
am certainly willing to come back and talk again. If you have something you want to talk with me one-on-one, just shoot me an email. I'd be happy to do coffee with you and we can chat some more. Great.
Great. Thank you.
You bet.
We're gonna run through some things really quickly here, fast, for the last 30 minutes. Just some updates. And the first thing is going to be Nate is going to talk.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nate, do you know where that picture comes from, Nate?
That's from newspaper.
Yeah. Why were you in the newspaper, Nate?
That's some football.
No, come on, Nate. So, this is a picture when Nate won the Hawaii State High School Championship in the 100 meters and the 110 high meter. This is a state champion, who is now our strength and conditioning coach here. And I'm assuming, Nate, you really don't want to say anything. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what you want.
Nate, as you know, we've got some new machines in our fitness center. And Nate put together a video to explain the 4 new machines that we have. Each video is about a minute long. I got 4 videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Equipment that we have.
Let's run through the videos real quick, and then we'll take maybe 2 minutes for any questions you might have for Nate, since you understand how these different machines work. And I'm going to see if I can make this please work.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully I have sound. Hang on. Do I have sound?
For this demonstration, I was gonna say.
Next time I'll put another short.
Here we go.
You should have Rudy in there.
Hang on here.
Sorry, I didn't find it. If they don't work, I'll just go up there and talk.
It's the same number. Take your shirt off.
Yeah.
Alright guys, this is Nate Naskin, the strength and conditioning coach here at State University. Just to be going over some of the new equipment that we got with a break. First thing we're starting off is the free motion dual cable system. We got 2 of these, one thanks to the AES department, so we want to make sure we get a.
Oh, why did they
Kill that.
It's okay.
Okay. I want to go back to this one, because I don't know how to do it. So here we go.
Come on, Joe.
You guys can see it.
Save him, Joe.
Alright guys, this is Nate Naskin, the strength and conditioning coach here at Pacific University. Just to be going over some of the new equipment that we got with a break. first thing we're starting off with is the free motion dual cable system. We got 2 of these, one thanks to the AES department, so we want to make sure we give a shout out to those guys. The free motion dual cable system is an awesome piece of equipment. One, because it allows for a lot of different variations of exercises, and two, again, we're able to use a number of planes of motion with this piece of equipment. So, as far as operating goes, you're gonna have 2 levers here, all right? Both of them are able to move. So I can move the lever out wider, I can bring it back in closer, and it's using just the lift over here. Always want to make sure that the lever is locked in place. So as long as you hear that click, we're good to go. Okay? The levers also move up and down depending on which angle I want to train. So if I want to train in high angle, obviously I'll pull the red knob out here, bring it up to the top. Click, that way I know it's locked in. If I want to lower it, I'll bring it back down. Again, I want to make sure there, you're good. Okay? So there's 2 stacks of weights here. Again, it's an awesome feature of the piece of equipment. Always want to make sure that the weight is locked in place. So what we'll do to start off is pull the weight out, okay? Slide it up. Always make sure that the knob is matched up with the weights. Okay, if it's not, I'll be able to put the weight in it. Okay? If I want to get it to slide in, make sure that it's not matched up, push the knob in, and we're good to go. Okay? Always make sure that knob is pressed all the way in, otherwise the cable machine won't work. Again, depending on what I want to do exercise-wise, I can do punches, press down. So, a number of different things we can do with the dual cable free motion system. And that's just, again, one piece of equipment that we got over the winter break.
Okay, number 2.
Alright guys, moving on to our next piece of equipment. We were able to purchase 8 women's bars over the break as well. What's nice about the women's bars is they're smaller diameter, they're lighter, they make it much easier to teach the Olympic lifts, powerlifting, even some squat and bench variations as well. So we're just looking at one of the bars that we purchased earlier in the year, guys bar, women's bar. Obviously see that the women's bar is a little bit smaller than the men's bar. Again, it makes it a little bit easier to handle as far as gripping them and moving the weight as well. So, again, the women's bars are lighter. They're 15 kilograms, so technically 33 pounds, which is about 10 pounds less than the men's bars. Again, good piece of equipment, awesome for teaching young lifters how to lift, and again, just makes it much easier for us to kind of get those new athletes in here and teach them how to lift.
Okay, number 3.
Okay. Another piece of equipment, guys, we've got TRXs. We got 4 more of those, so now we have a total of 7 TRXs. They're located in the bin over by the front desk. What's great about the TRX is you're going to do a number of different body weight exercises, core exercises, and another supplemental tool for us to use here in the weight room. So we got a few ARX pads, so again, let's do that. We do balance training. Also offers a little bit more comfortable lifting with some different hip bridge variations and a few other core exercises that we do as well. If you look up top at the racks over here, we also got a number of new stability balls. Again, good piece of equipment for doing core training. Also different variations of different exercises that we're able to do that as well. All right, so conclusion-wise, guys, again, that's some of the equipment that we were able to get over the break. I just want to thank April Reed for helping to set that up. We do have one more piece of equipment coming in soon. It will be a lat pull-down machine combo with a row. So looking forward to finding a home for that here. Again, thanks for listening, guys, and just keep the weight room safe and clean. Have a good day.
Okay, and last one. Here we go. And then Nate.
All right, guys. One of the things that we got were resistance bands. What's great about the resistance bands, again, we do rehab exercises. Also offers a different type of load when it comes to lifting weights. We have different strengths, different variations of the bands as well. Again, awesome tool for enhancing athletic development and just, again, overall speed as well. So just remember to always have the bands back on the wall over here. We also have our mini bands here. Again, another great tool for rehab exercises, prehab exercises, just small muscle group training, and again, awesome piece of equipment that's simple, but offers a lot of good things that we can do with them.
Nate, anything you would like to add to was in those videos? And then any questions for Nate? Nate, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I think everybody's done a pretty good job with taking care of the weight room, at least for the athletics-wise, so rolling through.
you guys have any questions or anything like that, suggestions, I'm always open to hearing things, and feel free, so.
Any questions on what Nate presented in this video? You guys good with the equipment and how to use it? All right, great. That was great. Great job. I don't know if that's Oscar level, but that's pretty good.
I mean.
Gary, I just want to say,
give
the
me a
weight
higher-
room has been so much better with Nate going, leaving that thing, step in there, it's clean, you're doing a great job.
Great. I'm glad you're, thank you, Nate. Appreciate that. I'm trying to think how to present this next. I'm just gonna go with the picture. We're gonna have, I'm gonna have Preston Ray talk about NCAA committee.
Talk about where'd you find photos?
But Preston, first you gotta explain, where did this picture come from? Other than I found it on
That's
this.
the last profile picture, I believe that's probably my first one.
Is that APU?
Yeah.
That's APU. Is that on file, Joe?
I think I took it last week.
Hey, one of the things when we were making the transition, to the NC2A, one of the things I said that we would have is a voice at the table to speak into issues in college athletics. And one of the ways is to do that is being involved in NC2A committees. And about a year ago, I think Preston joined the NC2A track and field coaches committee. Not coaches, NCAA track and field committee. I've asked him to come in and talk about what it's been like to be on the committee, what advantages he's found, because here's the deal, the next slide is going to show you all the open committees that are available. I would love for Azusa Pacific to be involved in these committees. A, to give a Christian worldview to any issues that are going on. B, to elevate Azusa Pacific's role and influence and leadership within the NC2A. And B, or C, to give you a chance to meet other coaches and become acquainted with other schools and how they do. So, Preston, talk about your experience past year on the NCAA track and field committee and what all it's involved.
Yeah, I can't believe that. So, okay, I've been on the committee for a year and a half now. I honestly had no idea what I was getting into when I applied for it. It was something that Bob Hogue mentioned at a meeting, Gary said something was open, so I applied online, and a couple months later they told me I was on it. So once I kind of got the manual and talked to the committee chair, honestly my first thought was, what the heck did I get myself into? At that point we've been in NCAA full members for a year, so not a lot of experience in the NCAA. It looked like a huge time commitment, and I almost said no at that point, but I'm glad I went forward with it. You guys all have sport committees in the NCAA. All our NCAA sports have a sport committee, and it's really a group that's in charge of administering your sport with the NCAA. So that goes all the way to championships. Our sport committee selects the championship field and goes through that whole process. You can shape a lot with championships. This past year we redid the whole at-large qualification for cross country. So it's throughout the entire old program, stuck a new program in there. So there's a lot of opportunities to do things, make changes at the national level. You're kind of the gatekeepers between the coaches and the NCAA. You work directly with your NCAA liaison for your sports. So it's a great opportunity to affect change in your sport and serve in your sport. It also is a window into the NCAA. I know we were NAI obviously forever. Most of you guys are here from our NAI days, and we all kind of had a good feel for how the NAI did things. We'd spent a lot of time as coaches putting our time in and had a lot of influence in the NAI. And as we have moved to the NCAA, and Gary says we want to be a model NCAA institution, I think this is a great way to start that process and gain the knowledge of how the NCAA works. And honestly, it's committees. There's committees everywhere and for everything. So getting on a committee is a great way to learn how it works and to influence that process. Kind of the third thing I've really gained from this experience is knowing other coaches. All of a sudden you're out front. You're the guy they're contacting. So it's a big responsibility, but it's also a great opportunity. There's been times when coaches have walked up to me that have been in the sport for 20, 30 years, have won national championships, and they're asking you for advice on stuff all of a sudden. And you have that connection with those guys. So, for your team, for your program, I think it's a great way to get out there and be a leader in your sport. If you don't feel ready for that, that's okay. I definitely wasn't ready for this. You're kind of drinking from a fire hose a little bit. I'm the chair of the committee now, which is a little scary at times too. But it is a lot of work, it's a lot of conference calls, it's a lot of responsibility at the championships. If you have it really helps to have a good staff around you, you know, Barnett, Reed, Bethany. Really, I couldn't do this if they weren't on top of things either. There's no way I'd be able to do this. So they take a little bit of my workload, especially at the championships, that allows me to serve in this capacity, which hopefully will elevate our program down the road. So they're 4-year terms, so you know.
And you get a cool little jacket, don't you?
You get gear for cross country and track and field, we've got 3 different championships. So we get gear at all of them. So I've got more NCAA gear almost now than APU gear, which is kind of cool.
And they take care of all your expenses?
Yes,
meetings,
all your travel expenses. We do go to Indy in the summer for, I don't know if all the sports do, but we go to Indy for a couple days in the summer for meetings, which are with Division I and Division III, so it's kind of cool to get together with those coaches, be at those meetings. Every committee, I think, has about half coaches, half administrators, so you get to interact with administrators from other regions, really see the sport from their perspective. You have an NCAA liaison, so you get direct contact with the national office. So.
Great. You know, and it can be head coaches, sports information people, athletic trainers, I think assistant coaches can serve. SWAs, Associate Athletic Directors, can serve on the committees. So great opportunities for us to get involved and to influence. Mike, as the coach on the outside looking in, having your coach involved, have you seen any particular advantages for your sake, other than, yeah, you've had to pick up maybe some extra load in Preston's other responsibilities?
Yeah, you know what, as Preston said, I mean, we get the inside skinny, you know, on what's going on, and we get a chance to kind of chime in and hear what's going on, you know, because of the committees. I mean, I know Kevin has served before, I'm on an executive committee, so it is really nice to understand as we've jumped into this NC2A to go, oh, that's Damon Martin, and he's leading my group, and he's calling me by name, holy crap, that's Damon, you know, so you're thrown in there, but you just realize they're just normal people like you, and they just have more money, you know. But it has been very good for us, absolutely.
Thank you, Preston. I want to show you, here are the committees that are currently have vacancies that apply to our sports. These are Division II. Still cross-country committee, there's some vacancies, men's soccer, women's soccer, swimming and diving, women's track and field, women's volleyball, and women's water polo. And you'll see they want representation across the country. So in some places, they'll say we want a West region person or a Southeast person. You know, you look at the men's soccer committee, Dave, you might be interested, but they're actually looking for an administrator from the Central and Atlantic region. So obviously that's not a vacancy that we can get. But these are out on the NC2A site. I will encourage you, as they come to me, I will encourage you to apply, but I want you to understand something. Just because I encourage you to apply doesn't mean that you need to take it. You can say, hey, I've got too much on my table. I need to be at home. I need to be a husband, a wife, a father, a mother. I need to take care of this. I get that. I just want to give you the opportunity to apply. And know this too, if you apply, it doesn't mean you're going to get it. To be honest with you, I've heard from some of my peers, they've applied 5, 6, 7 times to the committee before they get out. Because, you know, think of 1,200 schools are actually 220 D2 schools all applying. You know, there's only so many spots that they can fill with so many people. So you will probably get rejected the first couple times that you apply, but you keep after it and do it. But I want to encourage you. So if there's something of interest up here you see, let me know, and I'll show you how the application works. It's online. Let's move ahead to some department updates. Hey, head coaches, I need you to pay attention to this one, summer orientation. No longer is orientation going to be the week before school starts. There's going to be a welcome weekend where mom and dad can come in and drop off a kid and you feel great about it, Zoo Pacific, and you go back. But orientation for new students, and which includes freshmen transfers, are now going to be one-day operations. They're mandatory for all transfers and freshmen, and they're going to be, info's going to be since students, I'm trying to get to the date, there it is, June 21, 22, or 23. You need your new athletes to attend one of these orientations, one of these 3 days. They're not there for each day, just one of those days. They need to be there. The orientation will be on East Campus. It will be all day. As the point bullet says ahead of it, they will be communicated by University Relations, Admissions, someone else, or orientation, will communicate to them about these orientations. But I want you to be aware and to communicate to your new students, they have to be at one of these three.
Gary,
I see all sorts of questions.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'm gonna go with the hand that I saw first. Julie.
From all over the world, athletes have to come the 21st, 22nd.
Well, hang on here. There is a makeup. August 24th. That's probably for your internationals. Here's what the deal is. Orientation, when they send out their notifications, Chris is not gonna tell anybody about the August 24th, because they really want to steer everyone to 21, 22, 23. But yes, for those that getting there that week is just a tremendous challenge, there's August 24th. That's a Thursday before school starts. There is that day for orientation. That's not gonna be public knowledge. I think I saw your hand. Now come to you, Chris, yes.
And so is that international orientation as well, or is international?
International orientation is gonna be something separate still, because international orientations, we're getting paperwork, we're getting signed documents. Yeah, that'll be separate. Chris, was that your question? Okay, I didn't get to that bullet yet. Any questions about this mandatory orientation in the summer?
But they're getting it,
Yes, they're getting communicated. It's not your responsibility to communicate, but I want you to know so that you can help make sure that your new students are getting there. Yes, Dave?
If we're getting late ads or kids like that who have,
They're gonna have to do the August 24th one. Yep.
So the orientation, what goes on that one day again? Hey, Sarah, you have to be here on the 21st. So mom and dad show up that day and they're at the same.
I think there's class
No.
what else going on? Oh,
Class-
good, you're here.
Class registration, they're gonna change it up. We're working on it so that we can still protect student athlete schedules. It's still a work in progress. Once there's official decisions made on that, we'll let you know. It's gonna be a lot of like the orientation, these are student life policies, these are how you do different things from One Stop, from advising, meeting with departments, things like that. It's gonna
Are we
be,
doing testing? Are we doing placement testing? and stuff?
hopefully, but I'm not sure.
Okay. It's still a work in progress. I just got updated dates this morning. The slide when I put this together a couple days ago had different dates, and this morning Stacy Champagne told me these are the new dates, 21, 22, 23. Yes, Mike?
Okay, so I'm from New York, I'm gonna be a freshman.
Yeah.
I'm expected to come in and fly in
I
and
guess so.
housing. That's-
It's cheap to come here.
Huh?
It's cheap to come here.
I'm not even.
They're trying to cut down, this is a response a little bit to us losing the Tuesday of opening week is now classes, they're starting on Monday. So this was, to be honest with you, I got the impression this is what a lot of other schools are doing as a midsummer orientation. This has become a little bit more of a common practice. I agree with you, I've wondered about that too, if I'm international, or I'm not area, or I'm on vacation, I'm in Europe, traveling with my family. August 24th is the makeup, so that's when you get to do it. Other thoughts and questions? Yes, Holly?
Is that a full day of
Yeah, it's a
stuff?
full day.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an 8 to 5 thing. Yep.
So they'll be assigned one of those 3 days?
Is they assign or they pick?
They'll probably let them, I would assume they would let them
it's a
pick.
Okay.
I think it's a pick.
But once it fills up, then they're gonna defer to whatever.
Yeah.
Can we communicate to our incoming student athletes if this date is a major problem, please let me know, and then say, we can do something when you get here?
I would say communicate.
I'm not sure. I'll talk to the
Here's what
orientation, though.
orientation is, and let them push back on you.
And
No,
then
I wouldn't offer them the escape right out of the gate.
August 24th is also the day for winter and spring compliance and sports med education and physicals. So if we can keep people away from that day, if you're a winter or spring sport.
Good luck.
The August 24th date is not going public. I'm telling you guys, there is an escape hatch. Don't tell everybody that, okay? Encourage as best you can. And understand this, the university is communicating it to them, so it's not on you to communicate. I just want you to be aware and to help encourage them to come to one of those 3 days. Okay? We gotta move fast here, let's go. End of the year banquet. Our end of the year student athlete banquet's coming up. It's on April 30th, it'll be in Upper TCC. Want you to begin to think about this award. There's an award that depends upon you as coaches. It's called the Athletic Service Award. We need nominations, and here's what this is. This is a student athlete who goes above and beyond as servants, leaders, and captains to represent Azusa Pacific and help fulfill the mission of Cougar Athletics. I just want to put that up there for you guys to begin thinking about. who do I want to nominate? Bethany's going to be sending out a notice to you, what, in the next month? And so we want you to turn that around, but I want you to give that some thought ahead of time. Anything else you want to say about the banquet?
No, it'll probably be similar to what we've done in years past, but just keep an eye out for emails for nominations for Athlete of the Year, the service award, things like that.
Yep.
What's that already yet?
What?
5 o'clock.
Is that a Sunday? Is that a Sunday?
Sunday.
It's a Sunday
It's
before
Sunday right
finals.
before
Finals, yep. And while Bethany's talking, I just have Mike, or you can defer to Bethany, tell us a little bit about Night of Champions, date and what's the schedule?
Yeah, I think Bethany may have already sent an email to the coaches about the opportunity to help stuff Bibles and bags and stuff on that Thursday, Friday. Night of Champions is Saturday, March 18th. And currently, we have the blessing and privilege of having Derek Carr, quarterback for Oakland Raiders, coming in to speak. And we also have our own university kind of worship gospel team, Angel, and I forget her name, and Keisha will be doing the worship music beforehand. We also have Barbara Nuwaba, who is a heptathlete, Olympic heptathlete that's training out in Santa Barbara. And then we're hoping to have the spoken word by a set of twins that we have on campus. Typical, in and out still a go. They pulled the plug for, which we thought was pretty cool. They pulled the plug on the t-shirts, but said we would love to still give Bibles to every one of the kids. And then we worked out with American Christian Credit Union, and they're forking over the $15,000 for the t-shirts. So amen for that. This will be our 33rd annual. And we're pretty sure we've been in that 28 to 3,200, which is still awesome. But we're thinking that a name like that might just throw it into the 4,000 range. And so we need your help with your teams, and we'll get those emails out again and just reminders. Again, if you can't help set up Bibles and all that stuff, we get it, but try to maybe be that lead for your team to actually show up on Saturday and do some stuff, because we really can't do it without athletics being the go-to for sure.
Okay, couple more updates. Law enforcement recruitment. I get calls all the time about, hey, I'd like to meet with your team about recruiting into law enforcement. And I don't really bother you with those, but here's what I want you to start thinking about. When you could bring someone into your team to talk about law enforcement recruitment. They want athletes, and they're always calling me. I think they're also calling me because of the character of our athletes. They hear about this. Here are 3 easy people to work with. All are AP alums. Paul Dennis is a lieutenant in the Azusa PD, ran track here. In fact, he just signed up one of our softball players to move into the Azusa Academy, Azusa Police Department Academy, and I think in 2 years now she'll probably be on an officer at Azusa PD. Wayne Edwards, former baseball player who works for LAPD, and then Jesse Embry, who works for the California Department of Corrections as a parole officer. Jesse also ran track here. If you would ever like any of these 3 to come out and talk to your team about recruitment to law enforcement, I'm more than happy to put you in contact with them. It also probably saves me a little bit from all the emails and phone calls I get about law enforcement recruitment. But any one of those 3 would be great, and we'd be glad to be a part of it. I don't have a slide, I don't have a comment or a slide, but something I also want you to think about is sending our athletes into officiating. Our PACWIS assigners of officials, all of them, soccer, baseball, softball, basketball, volleyball, are telling us about how the pool is getting shallower and shallower. There are fewer and fewer people going into officiating. And one of the things we're talking about is there isn't an avenue like they do in law enforcement where they go out and recruit. We're trying to figure out how to develop avenues for people to come in and recruit seniors to go into officiating. Obviously not in the college level, but probably junior high, high school level to start out and go. But you might even have those conversations with your athletes about, hey, have you ever thought about going to officiating? Yes, your sport is done, your career is done, but you can stay connected to the sport by officiating. I'm going to try to develop some more avenues for that to happen, but just have those, if you think about it, have those conversations. International travel. Let me talk to you real quick about travel. Understand this, whenever you're traveling and renting a vehicle or something bad happens to you, vehicle damage, you lose property, someone gets hurt. Yes, we have insurance as a university. Yes, a rental vehicle has insurance, but also understand this, the property on which it happens they can be liable. When we have an incident, we need to talk to that property place about, hey, my car was hit in your parking lot, or my car had a theft, or one of our people were hurt on your grounds. Yes, I want you to deal with the rental company if you're dealing with the vehicle, but also know this, communicate with the property management, whoever manages the property on which we're on. Hotels can be liable. We had an incident where we had some vehicle damage at a hotel, and Enterprise is covered, so are we, to a certain degree, but the hotel could have been liable. We just didn't report it to the hotel, because we didn't think of it, to be honest with you. And talking to our general counsel, they said, whenever we have property vehicle damage, wherever it happened, we need to communicate it immediately to those people as well. That way we can possibly hold them liable, hold their insurance liable as well. International travel, if any of you plan to do international travel on the Azusa-Pacific dime, whether it's budgeted or restricted dollars, we must fill out an international travel authorization form. Must do that before we go anywhere. Partly because of just the world that we're living in now. Policy universities come up with, whenever we're thinking about going to Cuba, and I know some people are thinking about going to Cuba, or if that's where we do Costa Rica again, or you do Hungary again, or something like that, we can't even start the process until we fill out an international travel authorization form. So, if you're thinking about international travel, and you think you're halfway down the road, you're not halfway down the road until you fill out that form. So just something to keep in your mind as you look at international travel. Luke, you're gonna close this out. What do you got?
So, yeah, let me know if your your practice times are gonna change for the fall. They are trying to change some things where maybe before we ever schedule anyone for the fall semester, especially those incoming student athletes, that we can get them in their sports classes just to protect those times. Also, I know that we're just kind of looking, they're trying to change some of the process. Gary, Carly, and I are going to hopefully work and try and change some of that. That way we enroll student athletes before everyone else, at least give them a little priority, or we get them in classes for you guys. That way we know that they're not going to miss practice or games or have any conflicts that way. So we're working on that. Also, who can have Friday afternoon practice for football or classes if we know they're not going to travel, because a lot of freshmen that redshirt, we can save their schedules and their time and get them in classes they need.
That makes sense what Luke was talking about? It's a work in progress on that. Any last questions? Hey, thanks for the full 93 minutes of meeting. I appreciate your attention. Have a great day.